Alright guys, welcome back to the channel again. This is Kevin with Yerkut Racing. Today we're back out in the garage for another deal on this LT1 motor. So the other day we were working and trying to get everything straight. We were going to gap the rings and that was it. When we pulled off our rod caps, we had just a little bit of scoring on one of the journals for the rods on the crankshaft. Very, very minute. Little bit, but something I wanted to have polished out. So we're going to send that back into the machine shop. Have them just get that done real quick. I also found that I had a little bit of kind of like corrosion, I guess. The cam set in the block for a while, along with everything else. But I guess over time, for sitting for a year and a half, it got a little bit of surface rust on like the tips of some of the cam lobes. So anyway, we're going to see what we can do with that. Hopefully they can regrind it or polish it out somehow. Anyway, so while we're waiting on that, decided to make some improvements to the oiling system on it, mostly on the drain back side. I would like to be able to do enlarge the galleys and stuff like that while I'm in here. But for this build, being a budget build and trying to save a little bit of money on it, we're going to go without doing that because I don't want to run a high volume pump because I'm not ready to get a pan for it yet. So anyway, what we're going to do is come in, I'm going to flip you around and show you. So what we're going to do is just, like I said, little mods. We're going to come in right here, and on the back side we're going to open these and kind of just taper everything into the hole. Nothing major, just a little mod to help it drain back faster. On the front side over here, you got your holes that go down into the timing cover. We're going to round those off and just kind of, like I said, smooth everything in. Make it nice and easy for the oil to return back even faster than it would now. I'm planning on tapping these holes here for some 1/4 tube extensions. Basically, that way your oil isn't draining back down onto the camshaft directly. I think that's what I want to do. I got to do a little bit more research into it. It's something that I just came across the other day. I know it would cut down on a windage. And I think that would end up in the long run helping us out quite a bit. So I'm thinking we'll probably be getting enough oil from the lifters to be able, to feed the cam and have plenty there. As long as that's the case, I'm probably going to put the extensions in and have the oil go to the front or the back of the motor to return back to the pan. That way, cutting down there again on windage, freeing up some horsepower. Alright guys, so
we stripped the bolt, the heads of the bolts, trying to get them out. Apparently they were over tightened last time we put them in. So what we're going to do is, like same thing we did in the last one, we're just going to heat it really good and use the heat to break the bond between the two. I'll just hold the heat on it for a few minutes. When it gets good and hot, put the impact back on it and see if we can run it back out. Hopefully we'll get lucky like we did with the last one. Tank's still nice and cool, so no worries of overheating that. Alright, let's give that a shot and see if that was long enough. Alright, so that got a little more carried away than I had really wanted it to. But anyway, as you can see, we finally got the last bolt out of that. I'm going to pop these main caps off and see what they look like under there. Slide this back in here where y'all can see it again. Alright guys, so I just pulled the starter off and check what, I guess it's probably a good thing I did. That's probably less than ideal. Starter housing has cracked at some point along the way. So yeah, glad I pulled it off because I'm sure that would have been a problem real soon.
there's one little thing here that I wanted to show you guys. Mostly because this is something I didn't even know about until just a minute ago. But I was doing some research on it. And if you, I hope you can see it. You may not be able to. Let me grab a light. Alright. So you got on the back main bearing, there's these, you got the 2 holes for the bolts to go in, and then you got the the oil passage here. On this side over here, I'm trying to get you a shot, but I don't know if it's going to be good or not. Probably not. Hopefully you guys can see that. Down about 2 inches inside of that hole, there is a BB, a rather large size BB. They put that in there to block off the oil passageway. It's the same one. I'll flip it back over and I'll show you. It's the same oil passage that comes up here for your oil pressure sensor. And apparently, in order to clean the block really well and make sure that you don't have any like old debris in the motor once you're doing, you're doing a fresh rebuild, you really want to get out everything you can. The only way to really do that is to knock that ball out. Now, a lot of people have done these motors and don't know that from what I've seen on the forums and stuff. Like, people generally don't have that as, you know, as something that they do. But I know like your major LT1 builders, supposedly like Golan especially, and some others that I've heard doing it too, they knock that out and they actually replace it with a plug instead of the ball. So I don't know. I just know that if that comes out and you don't have it, it's supposed to cause issues. So something, you know, in case anybody else hadn't seen it and you're doing an LT1 motor, something to look for. But anyway, we're gonna get started with it, guys. Alright, so we got most of the grinding done. Probably gonna come back, maybe hit it with some cartridge rolls, but other than that, we've done with that part. We knocked the freeze plugs out of everywhere but the back of the block. We still got to get those once we pull it off the stand. Appreciate you coming out, looking at the channel again today. If you haven't already done so, take a second to hit the subscribe button. Give us a like, comment if you got any questions about anything, and we'll see you on the next one.